señor está mal de la cabeza.
Y 100%.
Permiso, que estoy hablando.
Totalmente.
I'm speaking. También ha dicho que somos alimaña, los enemigos de adentro. ¿Tú sabes lo que sí es una vergüenza? Que una persona como Donald Trump esté liderando el Partido Republicano. Que era un mitin de amor. Sí, pero recordemos que todo lo que salga respecto a Donald Trump es una conspiración porque el señor es un santo. Por ahí.
Muy bien.
Y podría él empezar a pagarle a E. Jean Carroll lo que le debe por haber abusado sexualmente de ella.
Y nunca culpas a Hamas por eso. Nunca has culpado a Hamas por eso.
Jamás es una
Por
organización
Dios.
terrorista y no tengo nada que esperar de ellos, pero de un gobierno legítimo como el de Israel lo espero todo. Hola señores, en este momento tengo el privilegio de estar con el congresista Ted Lieu y también su invitada, y quiero que hablemos un poco de lo que está sucediendo en la administración de Donald Trump, porque lo que estamos viendo es sin precedentes y yo sé que muchos de ustedes sienten que lamentablemente los demócratas no están haciendo suficiente. Así que vamos a traducir esta entrevista para que ustedes puedan entender. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk to you today. Today is a very important day because we're going to hear a lot of lies tonight, and obviously Donald Trump is going to convince, or at least try to convince, the American people that he's working for us. And unfortunately, there's a perception that Democrats are not doing enough. We're seeing that in the last 7 weeks that Donald Trump has been in power, he has literally changed our reality. What is the Democratic Party doing to fight the extreme agenda coming from Republicans and Donald Trump?
So thank you for being here, and honored to be with you today. Leader Jeffries has set out a 10-point plan that has 3 themes based on legislation, mobilization, and litigation. Over 100 lawsuits have been filed, and we're winning in a number of those lawsuits. So folks may not read about court cases, they may not always be super interesting, but a number of Donald Trump's executive orders have been stopped or they're under litigation. We've also introduced bills on the Democratic side to also push back. So for example, I'm a co-author of the Taxpayer Data Protection Act that keeps people like Elon Musk from having your social security number and other private information from payment systems. And then there's mobilization. We're getting lots of energy at town halls, and you see Republican town halls where their constituents are yelling at them and pushing back. And as a result, Donald Trump's approval numbers have dropped significantly. After inauguration, he was +6 approval. Now he's -7 disapproval, a flip of 13 points, according to a Reuters poll. That's pretty dramatic.
We understand that the courts are in place to stop or slow down Donald Trump, but we don't trust the Supreme Court because ultimately that's where he thinks that he can probably get the justices to say, you know what, go ahead with your agenda. If let's say that the Supreme Court decides that they want to give Donald Trump all of these wins, even if that means that they are taking their own power away, what are you in Congress ready to do if that's what we are faced with?
So I agree with you. It is a center-right Supreme Court. There are a number of conservative justices. I do know that the first case that the Supreme Court looked at in the Trump administration, they ruled against the Trump administration. They literally said that the Trump administration was wrong and they didn't follow the law. And so, yes, I do think the Supreme Court will decide cases that I disagree with, but also I think they will apply the law, and Donald Trump's administration is brazenly violating the law in a number of these cases.
Okay, and tonight is a very important night, and Congress people, congressmen and women, you can bring a guest. You can bring a guest to probably the most important night in politics of the year. Why did you choose Shannon? This is Shannon, and this is the guest that he chose to bring for such an important night, and we want to know why.
Sure. Donald Trump promised a golden age. He lied to the American people. We have inflation increasing, consumer sentiment decreasing, the price of eggs continues to rise, and the Trump administration has made that worse by firing people working on bird flu. There's a measles outbreak right now in West Texas. There's chaos, the stock market is tanking, and one of the most dramatic things the administration and Republicans are doing is massive cuts to Medicaid, to SNAP, to WIC. And my guess is Shannon Whaley. She does research for PHFE WIC, the nation's largest WIC provider. My district is in that coverage area. I'd like Shannon to explain what WIC is and why it is so important.
Thank you, Ted. I appreciate the invitation to be here. And thank you for being here. I'm learning quite a bit about social media, so I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So for those of you less familiar with WIC, it's for 50 years has been making American children healthy. So it's shocking that all of a sudden we're concerned and wondering if we're gonna have enough food to feed families in this country. So WIC provides fresh, healthy fruits and vegetables, healthy foods, as well as nutrition education, breastfeeding support, all the things a new family needs. We also have the SNAP program in this country, providing important SNAP food benefits, keeping people food secure across the country. And then of course, Medicaid, I think you mentioned all three. These are critical aspects of the social safety net in our country. And frankly, without them, I'm deeply concerned about what this is gonna mean. Medicaid serves 4 out of 10 children, 8 out of 10 children in poverty. WIC serves half of the births in this country. These are families that need the programs to make ends meet. So people directly affected are of deep concern, but frankly, all of us are gonna be affected by cuts like this. We can sit here and say, oh, I don't know what Medicaid is, I've never heard of SNAP, this doesn't affect me. That is not gonna be the case. We are all connected. And as we start to see federal cuts come to the state levels, every one of us will be affected by these federal cuts.
It seems like these programs do not, Republicans do not get this type of programs. Are they just for Democrats and this is why they want to cut them? How does this work?
You know, it's such a good question because WIC has been around for 50 years and we just celebrated 50 years last year. In its 50-year history, it has had strong bipartisan support. It has never been a political issue as to whether we feed children. We are in uncharted territory. It's deeply concerning. I share the concerns that you've shared throughout this interview. I don't know. I can't answer what the other side is thinking right now, but I'm as shocked as the rest of us that all of a sudden it's a question as to whether we're feeding our babies.
So look, children don't have party registration, right? And it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat or independent or Green Party. If you're a child, you don't even pay attention to that, but if you're hungry, it's going to not only affect you, but it could also damage you if you're continuously hungry and you don't get the right nutrition. And study after study shows that the most impact you can have on a child's life is ages 0 through 5. And if we don't give them that nutrition in those ages, it's going to affect them for the rest of their life.
Como pueden ver ustedes, no podemos decir que el Partido Republicano es el partido pro familia cuando incluso estamos hablando de recortar los programas que tantos niños, millones de niños estadounidenses necesitan para sobrevivir. Y tal vez usted puede proveer para su familia, pero hay millones de niños que si no tienen estos programas van a ir a dormir con hambre. Y eso es muy lamentable. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk to you and to meet you, Shannon. Thank you for what you do and for serving this country.
Thank you.
Sí, gracias.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Excellent.
Very nice meeting
You
both.
too. Thank you
And
for
I
coming.
definitely want